I told you all when you learned about natural and synthetic chemicals, told you all that to pretend like, I mean, not pretend, take yourself out of the classroom and put yourself in everyday life so that you can think about the chemicals that you use every day. I said from the moment you leave the classroom, so every day, start thinking about some of the chemicals that you use on a daily basis. So we're no longer in science. I want you to think about the stuff that you use every single day. And now think about how you have benefited from those things that you've used from the moment you left here to every day that you've used. So how have we benefited? How have you benefited from chemicals from the moment you left here every day, Darius?
Took some medicine this morning.
Okay, so meds. All right, what else? Makeup, definitely. Think about your everyday routine. Okay, what'd you eat? Did you eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner today? Lunch. And hopefully you ate dinner last night.
The plate that I put the food on.
Okay, so utensils. That's good. Gas. No, you didn't, but I'll say that you did.
Are you calling me a liar?
No, I'm just calling you a not truth teller. So, I know that you didn't use that either, but you know people that do, so I'll put that up here. And nobody in this class uses that, so don't worry about it.
I use soap.
All right.
Like deodorant?
Deodorant, good, and I know that you don't use that either, but deodorant, I am spelling it wrong. Deodorant. There we go. Whatever, deodorant. Pencils. Paper. Good. What else? Clothes. Lotion and moisturizer. I'll put the both. Some people use moisturizer, some people don't, and that's fine. You don't use that. It's just there. Perfume. And I put cologne. And I know some of you use this because you think that it's going to cover up your original stench from not using the soaps and the toothpaste, but it doesn't work, guys. Check. Water. Gate. Shampoo. Funny how you guys are coming up with things that you don't even use, but okay. Conditioner. That would be paper and pencils. Okay. Glasses or contacts. Yes, your supplies. Who? Yeah, you do. The metal, because you use them, it may be hunting. Hopefully. Okay, I put metal there. Plastic for your supplies, maybe even for your cooking utensils, maybe for some things in your room, things of that nature. So we can see, and this is not even all of the stuff, but we can see that we benefit from chemicals a great deal, correct? A big deal. So we can actually take the way that we benefit from chemicals and condense them into 4 categories. Now there are some subcategories some things that won't fit into these 4 categories, but we can say for the most part, we use chemicals, benefit from chemicals in 4 categories. If you look at your notes, you should be able to tell me those 4 categories. What are they? Medicines, food additives and preservatives, crop yields, and sanitation. Do you agree that we use them in those 4 ways? All right, so we're going to go through each of these 4 ways and break them down and talk about how we've used chemicals in those 4 categories and how we've benefited from those chemicals in the 4 categories that we just broke down there. So So starting with medicine. And these are the ways that we benefit from chemicals. First way, not in any particular order, would be medicine. And the medicine is any drug that is used to cure, means to take away, to prevent, stop it from happening, or to treat, to make it bearable, an illness or discomfort. You need to be writing down what a medicine is. That's why you have that big line there. We're going to talk about that. Right now, I need you to get this definition. So this poor baby is so sick. You can tell in her face, her puffy eyes. She might not be, though. And today, I don't want you guys to get off track because we do have quite a bit to cover. All right, does anyone get this joke in the middle?
Yeah.
What does it mean? Why? Jack? No, that's hypochondriac.
Kleptomania is like stealing.
Kleptomania is the disease of taking things. My uncle in his old age, he actually is now a kleptomaniac. He will take things that are of no meaning, like silverware and lint and just silly stuff that he just has a habit, a problem of just taking things and putting them in his pocket. So he says, you have to stop taking things for your kleptomania. And then this guy broke his wrist from opening up medicine, so now he has to get medicine for the wrist, pain of the wrist, of breaking it. Any questions about what medicine is? Okay, I'm going to be moving. Partner check. All right. Medicines improve a person's health or well-being by improving their physical or psychological state. What do I mean when I say physical? Their body, like, oh, my head hurts, my neck and my back, my leg, my feet, my stomach. Those are all physical. But what do I mean when I say psychological? The mind, mentally. It doesn't mean that it is in their mind, they're just faking the sickness. It means there's some mental things going on. And those would be things like maybe depression, anxiety, ADD, ADHD, sleep apnea, insomnia. Things of that nature would fall under the psychological state. And sometimes people take medicine to regulate their mind and get their mind back on track to get them focused or stop those mental issues or help it be bearable. And then sometimes people take medicine for their physical illness. Now, medicines can be natural, like penicillin. Also, I want you to add aloe vera, ALOE, and then VERA. That's a plant. And aloe vera is for certain pains, like maybe if you burned yourself, you can open an aloe vera plant and put it on there. It's also for acne. ALOE. And then Vera, VERA. And you'll see lotion that has aloe in it.
And then don't they sell like aloe vera?
Plants.
And also like in a bottle.
Yes, they do. Somebody has manufactured by taking it from the plant, extracting it and putting it in there. Also, penicillin is a natural medicine. And what happened, the scientists had some molding food or bread and took that mold to try to study it and see what it was, put it in a petri dish, and noticed that the mold was killing the bacteria. And he named it penicillin and found out that it was a agent that kills bacteria. So developed and made a medicine of it. Other medicines can be synthetic, like aspirin or any other pain reliever. Today you're going to realize that everything that you take for pain is not considered an aspirin. Aspirin is the drug, not the medicine. And people under the age of 35 should not take aspirin because it is a blood thickener. And you don't want that. It causes blood clots. All right. For medicine to be effective, it must be potent enough to produce the desired effect. What do I mean by potent?
Like, it has enough kick to it.
What do you mean? What do you mean by kick?
Like, just like strong enough.
Strong enough. Strong enough to do what? Do what it says it's going to do. So it's its strength. And don't wait for me to uncover this. Start writing your own definition. You just want to copy what I have. Use your brains.
We're doing the definition for potent.
Potent, yep, right underneath where it says must be potent enough. Potent means its strength. And not just its strength, but its strength to do what it says it's going to do. For medicine to be effective, it must also be safe and non-toxic. Let's go back to potent for just a moment. You don't want to take a medicine, take something for a headache, and it doesn't take away your headache. I mean, it's not strong enough. You don't want to take a baby Tylenol if you're a teenager or an adult, because that's not going to be potent enough to do what you need it to do. And then you want the medicine has to follow all these criteria for it to be effective. You want it to be safe and non-toxic. You don't want to take something for a stomach ache, but it causes cancer. That would be toxic. You don't want something to be unsafe where it takes away your headache because it's going to make your head explode. No head, no headache. Great. No, that's not going to be safe. All right? You don't want to take something for a backache, but it causes bleeding of the ears. That's not safe. All right? For medicine to be effective, it must have minimal side effects. Now, most medicines, if not all medicines, have side effects. Some medicines may say cause drowsiness or excitability. Some may say cause a little nausea, meaning that you're going to feel a little bit sick to your stomach, or you're going to feel a little sick, your stomach's going to feel a little queasy, or may cause dizziness. And some things you just have to go with. Some medicines may have side effects where it suppresses your appetite. It stops you from being hungry, and you're just not hungry all day. Some may increase your appetite. Some medicines, then again, may have side effects that give you suicidal thoughts, or may have side effects where, if you see on the news, they have medicine that have been pulled back because it caused death, and you don't want to take something like that. So you want something that's going to do what it says it's going to do, going to be safe and non-toxic, and not going to have a lot of side effects. You don't want to take something that's going to stop a stomach ache but gives you explosive diarrhea. That wouldn't be cool, right? Or do you want explosive diarrhea?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. What's a side effect?
Something that is an effect of the medicine.
Yeah, but getting rid of the pain is an effect too, and that's not a side effect.
An unintentional effect of a medicine.
Unintentional effect. I would say that. That's a great definition. An unintentional effect. Or undesired effect. Undesired, an effect that's different from the one that you want. So far we talked about for medicine to be effective, it must be potent enough, strong enough to do what it says it's going to do. It must be safe and non-toxic. And it must have minimal side effects. The last one on your paper says have proper blank requirements. What do you think is going to fit there? All of that stuff falls under health. No, and this age is going to fall under what we're talking about.
Is it like that company thingy that regulates?
FDA, nope, they have nothing to do for it to be effective. So what if I just said you got a headache, just take these until the headache goes away? Is that good? How many you can take? So that is the dosage. It must have proper dosage requirements. What does dosage mean? The amount, but not just the amount. If I just say keep taking it until your headache goes away, is that good? The amount and what you say, Doris?
The amount you need, the amount and time you need to take.
Yes. The quantity over the amount of time. So quantity needed to be taken over a period of time. Do not copy that word for word. Put it in your own words. So it has to say something like take 2 every 2 hours, but do not exceed 8 in a 24-hour period. Or take 1 teaspoon every 3 hours. Do not exceed 3 teaspoons in a 24-hour period. It has to tell you that. With that, it also has to tell you what? It just tells you the amount and the amount of time. Should. That is direction.
How to take
Who should take it? It should tell you who. You don't want to take something that's for a man and a woman takes it, then you grow a mustache. Or for a woman and a man takes it and they grow breasts. Yeah, that's not good. You also want to take something, don't want to take something that's too potent, so it has to tell you who should take it. And normally the time on the back it'll have the age. Now the age is for weight. It really has nothing to do with that person's actual age. They go by average weight because our body is full of chemicals and we're going to have a chemical reaction with that medicine. So it has to be able to determine how much a person should take per weight. And they say an average person of this weight should take this much. People of average weight are 12 years old. Well, using Darius for instance, if he had to take a medicine at 13 years old, do you think I'm going to, and most medicines will go from 8 to 13. Do you think I'm going to give him medicine that an 8-year-old could take? Do you think that's going to be potent enough? Why? He is not the average weight and height of a 13-year-old. He's actually the same height and weight almost as my husband. So therefore, if I'm going to give him pain medicine, I'm going to give him something that my husband and I would take as an adult because that's what's going to be potent. So that has to be taken into consideration as well. If it's a baby Tylenol, you don't want to take a baby Tylenol because that's not going to be potent and that's going to be part of your dosage requirement. Understand? Okay. Moving on to types of medicines. I don't have my same one on my paper, so hold on one second. Alrighty. So now we're going to look at the types of medicines. I want to make sure you understand this chart. On the very my left, if I'm looking at this chart where it says type, these are the medicines. In the middle column where it says drug examples, these are the drugs that are in these medicines. The far right is the effect. These are the desired effects that you want or that these medicines will produce with these drugs. These are the effects that the drugs in these medicines will produce. Nowhere on this chart is the actual name brand of the medicine. So when you go to the store and you buy the name brand of it, that's not on here. But the name brand will be this type of medicine with this drug giving you these effects. Do you understand? So on your notes, I have not provided a spot for you to write the name brand, but you may want to jot a little note on the side, the name brand, so that you know, because this is stuff that you will need to know in your life. So let's start from the very first one. This is an analgesic. I want you to say that. Very good. Analgesic. And then an analgesic will either have these drugs in it. It either has acetaminophen, say acetaminophen, or ibuprofen, or aspirin. Notice aspirin is the drug. What do you think the effects of these drugs will be, Jack? Pain reliever. This is a painkiller. What are some examples of name brands that have this medicine with that drug? Advil, Tylenol, Bayer actually has aspirin. Tylenol has acetaminophen. Advil has ibuprofen, I believe. Motrin has ibuprofen. Anything else? That's the same thing, Tylenol, acetaminophen. All right. The next one would be antihistamine. What's antihistamine? Say antihistamine, I'm sorry. Antihistamine, good. And antihistamine, put this in the wrong spot. Cross this off here and put it here. And then cross this one off, cortisone. And put that there. So the medicine antihistamine will have either the drug diphenhydramine. There you go. Lortidine. Or hydrocortisone. Okay, and what do you think this is for? Looking at the word, you think that it's going to be something like what? Against what? Like right now, I feel like I need to take an antihistamine. Itching. When do you normally itch?
When you get a bug.
And that means you're what? If you itch, that means you're what to it? Allergic. These are for allergies and allergic reactions. So not just seasonal allergies, but if you get a bug bite or something happens, poison ivy, then you would take an antihistamine to get rid of that itching or irritation or swelling, things of that nature. Because sometimes you don't itch, sometimes you just swell up. If anyone has a EpiPen would be considered an antihistamine to stop an anaphylactic reaction. Antacid. What do you think that is? What do you think this word means? Settles the acid against acid. That would be aluminum hydroxide. What is the chemical formula for aluminum hydroxide? ALOH. Very good. Throw that in. And what do you think is going to, actually, let me go back for a second. Antihistamine. What are some name brand medicine for that? Claritin. Benadryl. Jack. I don't know. I'll come back to you. Zyrtec. Maggie. That's what I take.
I have a question for the first one.
Yes.
Why is ibuprofen and aspirin are like brand names? So why did
Well, that's not the brand name. They'll just actually call it ibuprofen because that is the drug that's there. Aspirin, they'll just call it that because that's the drug. But they have Bayer, aspirin. They have Motrin, ibuprofen.
Would it be ALOH in parentheses 3 because aluminum has...
I think OH is a net 3 minus. So it's just ALOH. Okay, well, ALOH
No,
is 3.
OH would have a subscription.
Okay. Yes.
Was that right?
Yes. All right. Going back to antacid with aluminum hydroxide, what is that for?
Heartburn.
You can use it for heartburn and stomach relief. So it neutralizes the acid in the stomach. So we'll just say stomach relief. Name brands. Dum 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 dum. Prevacid. Pepto-Bismol. Alka-Seltzer, yes. You also can drink ginger ale. Ginger ale is a it neutralizes the stomach, and sometimes orange juice, depending on the person.
So can I say like Tropicana?
No. All right. An analgesic you can buy from the store, or it can be prescribed by a doctor, depending on the strength or the potency. An antihistamine you can buy from the store, or it can be prescribed from a doctor, depending on the necessity of it. Jack?
is like morphine and hydrocodone?
Those are analgesics, yes. Antacids you can buy from the store. You don't need to get these prescribed from a doctor, but there are some that have certain potency for certain things like acid reflux that you would get from a doctor. An antibiotic, that is something you only can get from a doctor. What do you think this is? This means antibodies. What are the bodies we're trying to get rid of? Bacteria. So these are for killing, not viruses, because we can't kill viruses, and you'll learn that later. This is for killing bacteria. And the things for that would be penicillin, amoxicillin, tetracycline, erythromycin, and azithromycin. What do they all end in? N. N. Anytime you see an N like that, it's usually an antibiotic. Oh, tetracycline and erythromycin. Hopefully you'll never have to get one of those.
Why are they bold?
STDs. Oh.
I don't want to get that.
No, you don't. All right. And then the next one, type of medicine, huh? Give me some, no, you don't need any name brands for this because these are actually prescribed by a doctor. Neosporin is not a antibiotic. It has some antibiotics in it, but it's not an antibiotic. Hormone medicine. Things like insulin, orthoevra, steroids, or adrenocorticals, or even your the steroids would be your inhaler. That's a steroid. Um, that would be under hormone medicine. And what these do is they regulate natural hormones. Insulin is used for who? Diabetics. And their hormone, their pancreas, they regulate natural, I want to say hormones and yeah, hormones. We can use hormones. Diabetics, their pancreas is essentially broke. Well, it doesn't produce insulin like it should to regulate their body sugar because insulin will bring down their sugar so they don't get overexcited or go into a diabetic coma. So, therefore, since their pancreas doesn't produce insulin to do that, they have to take insulin shots so that it will do what their pancreas cannot do. Orthoevra is a birth control. Steroids, we already talked about your asthma inhaler to regulate the opening of your bronchial tube so that you can breathe. Adrenocorticals is for your adrenal glands, and we'll talk about that gland later. So hormones and glands we can put here. Some people take thyroid hormones because they can't regulate their salt in their body, so that would have to do that for them. Again, hormone medicine has to be prescribed by a doctor. These are usually injected by shots, or they could be a pill or an inhaler, like we talked about. Vaccine, yes.
I had a question about hormone. Are like depression and anxiety medicines, those are considered hormones, right?
You could actually, yes, those would be considered hormones because that is in your pituitary gland. Um, Vaccine is the next one. These have to be administered by a doctor. You cannot go to the store and get it. So, like a chickenpox vaccine, a flu vaccine, a HPV vaccine, a Tdap, which you have to get before you come to sixth grade and when you go to college. All of those types of vaccines, polio vaccine. What do you think they're for? To prevent viruses. Where does the word vaccine or the technique vaccine, where do you think that comes from? Darius?
Where does like it come from? Like where did we learn it from?
No, like where did this whole process come from? Where do you think that originated from?
Africans.
But how?
Because they used to do it.
But how, Jack?
They would take the blood of an infected person and then take that infected blood and put it in a healthy person.
Okay, so actually the way that it worked, and you're on the right track, Clayton, put your hand down. Vaccine comes from the word vaca or vaca, which is VACCA. Does anyone know what that means? ¿Tú entiendes? Vaca, cow. And cow comes from the disease cowpox, which is smallpox, and they thought that cows actually passed on that disease. So what happens was, how many of you have ever had a scab from a cut or a scar? You're right. Now imagine your scabs being all pussy all the time. And imagine having them all over your body. That was the cowpox. So what they did is, we all live in the same community here. Andrew has cowpox, and Matt has cowpox. But James and I, we do not, but we live with them. So scientists were like, how come these people that live in the same community as the infected people do not have cowpox? It must be something with them being around it. They may have built up an immunity. What does immunity mean? Resistant. Their body kind of resisted it because they've been around it, and their body's like, oh, we already know what that is. So what they did was they took a scab from this infected person and a scab from this one, and they went over to the healthy community. None of you have it, and they said, cut you open, they put a cut on that person, and they inserted that scab into the cut. And then they watched you and monitored you for days, and they realized they never got infected with it. So they said, there's something about people that are exposed to the disease will not get the disease. And that's how they got vaccines, because vaccines are just a small dosage of the dead virus. It used to be the live virus, but now a small dosage of the dead virus that they inject into individuals so that their body can develop immunity. Some people will get it, and then they may not ever get it again. Some people won't get it. Some people are totally against vaccines, and some are not.
Did you get like AIDS for that?
Yeah, you could, but that back in those days, AIDS didn't exist. But they don't do that anymore because now they use the dead virus already in a shot. All right, and these are all administered through a shot at the hospital. Any questions? There's no vaccine for it. All right, so make sure you label those things what I said. Vaccines administered, quiet, at the hospital by a shot, hormones, prescriptions, antibiotics, prescriptions, antacids, antihistamines, analgesics, all can be purchased from the store, but they also can be prescribed. Moving on to food additives and food preservatives. What do you think a food additive is? Give me the definition. Food additive, Jack.
Something added to the food.
Yep. So these are things added. I'm not going to show you a definition, so you need to write. These are things added to foods and I'm going to tell you what they're added them to. They're added for flavor, so to give it a certain flavor, like your candy. If they say it's cherry, they have to put a food additive to make it taste like cherry. Notice the cherry flavor never tastes like a real cherry. They actually add food additives to give it consistent liquid consistency or a certain texture. Let's say that. So they add to add texture, color. They want the grape stuff to be purple. They want the strawberry stuff to be red. That too. Thickening. They want to thicken up something. Maybe make it more plump. Consistency, like if it was a liquid, they may want it to be more viscous. Thickening, maybe if it's a fruit or a vegetable, maybe they want to plump it up. And then preservatives, and that's both antioxidants and preservatives. So food additives will be for flavoring, thickening, consistency, coloring, and then preservatives. And then talking about a food preservative, what is that?
It keeps food,
Mason.
helps keep food from going bad.
Good.
You didn't do it.
Oh, because I got the marker up. I'm like, really? So it prevents or inhibits or slows down spoilage of food. Do not write my exact words. Keeps your food from going bad. Prevents, inhibits, slows down spoilage of food. Food preservatives will allow us to store food longer. So we can keep it on our shelves in our grocery store, buy it, and put it on our shelves in our homes. They prevent growth of mold and bacteria. This looks like something that's probably under one of your beds. You never know what's under your bed, child.
I know what's under mine.
Good. Neither is mine. That is a hot dog with mold on it. It also prevents chemical reactions that break down food. If it's a chemical reaction that's breaking down food, what type of reaction is that? Very good. And this Grim Reaper is coming to his house and saying, oh, don't panic, I'm just here for the food in the back of your refrigerator. So the Grim Reaper will probably visit your bedroom tonight and say, oh, don't panic, I'm just here for the food under your bed.
He's gonna shake his hand up.
You gotta hurry because we got 10 minutes. Second to last, crop yield is another benefit. And crop yield means to,
Stop.
remember in our chemical equations, it becomes the product, yes. So farmers use these to produce product, which is their crop. They use fertilizers. What are fertilizers used for?
Enhancing the growth.
Yes, exactly. They improve. Do not write mine word for word. Chemicals improve soil, improve the quality of the soil. It's going to give the soil more nutrients. And not just the fertilizer that you buy at the store. You can do natural fertilizer, which would be what? Poop. The fertilizers are going to have a mixture. Let me go for a second because we got a little bit of time. It's going to be a mixture of elements in, which is P, K. Very good. And without these, our food production would drop. Know that you go to the grocery store and you buy grapes and bananas and corn and peppers and things of that nature. You know that they don't grow them in the back of their grocery store, right? They don't go pick them from the back. They go to, it's farmers markets that sell them. All right, pesticides. What are pesticides? What does the suffix side mean? Like homicide, suicide, kill. So what does this mean? Kill. Pests. Anything that's considered a pest. Poison that is used to kill insects, weeds, those things that grow in your grass, or other crop pests. It's going to kill pests, but it can also destroy crops. And if we use too much of it, it can harm the environment and people. My idea of a pesticide would just be to cement my entire yard so I can park on it. Hey, that's what I want. I don't do grass.
She doesn't have beautiful grass.
I agree. Thank you. I don't want to cut it. I don't want to have it. Can I move from here?
No.
All right, quickly. What's N? What's P? What's K? There you go. So for the alert, if we use too much chemicals, it can do what? Kill people and the environment. All right, and then our last benefit is sanitation. You should be able to fill the blanks in without me having that up there. Sanitation is the practice of providing sewage. This is our environment does this. Our government does this. Provides sewage for us so we can flush our toilet. We can run our water down the drain. And solid waste. We can flush our toilets and we can throw out trash. Gives us clean drinking water. But then it also has to do with what we do. We also have to dispose of our waste properly so that we can have this clean drinking water. And we also have to have clean living conditions. So we have to keep our bodies clean, keep our housing quarters clean. Can't live in filth. That will produce diseases. Okay? All right, some examples of sanitation would be chlorine. What's the element symbol? It's diatomic. CO2. And this is used for sewage cleaning and in our drinking water. So they clean our sewers with this, and they also clean our drinking water from the used for killing bacteria. Our household cleaners, like bleach, and everything we see here, is used for killing bacteria. Hydrogen peroxide, what's the element symbol? H2O2. And it's used for disinfecting cuts and preventing infections. They do make mouthwash with peroxide in it because you do cut your gums every time you brush your teeth. So you can use that mouthwash to disinfect your gums. Notice these are big tubes and they should be little tubes. Something happened along the transformation. Any questions about your notes? Okay. Don't clean up because we're not done.